right, here we are. Here we go. This is Staying in the Light Radio. The light shines in you. Don't for the light coming out of YouTube. We're going to talk a little bit about family today. And if you don't know, you should know. For some time now, the nuclear family has been under attack. Husband, wife, children. That's the nuclear family. Now, speaking to both wives and husbands, y'all got to learn to tolerate each other. You got to take a lot of fluff from each other. You got to. That's what the vow's about. You think you're going to be together just when things was all easy and lovey-dovey? No, you said, hey, this is forever. And I tell you what, once you endure what you have to, it's going to come out a lot sweet on the other side. So don't be focused on what's going on right now, the hostilities, the hatred, the cussing out. Don't focus on that. Focus on what it's going to be like after you go through that. And I'm speaking specific to the husband because you got to be a lot stronger than she is if you want to hold your family together. You got to be. That's one reason why um, they call her the weaker vessel. I won't say she's the weaker vessel. I'll say she's the stronger vessel. That's why it's easier to crack her than you. Because you're the weaker vessel. Men, you are. But being weak don't mean you're not strong. Give you a good example. You take two vessels, okay? One strong, one weak. You start pounding them to break them. Which one's going to crack first? The little one or the big one? The strong one or the weak one? The strong one's going to crack first because it has more vibratory ways to crack because it's just the fact that it's strong and large and develop a lot. It cannot absorb all of the negativity that's coming to it. Now, I'm not saying all women are weak. I'm saying they all are strong, but there's weak parts of her. There's a reason why men, you were made the one would have muscles. Muscles symbolizing strength, meaning you are to master this physical world. That's where your strength is. She's supposed to master the spiritual world. That's where her strength is. So when I say the family should be strong and protected from attack, that mostly lies on her. She has the most ability and power to keep it together. So when she's under attack, because she's not showing her power that she's supposed to have, that's when you got to come up and step outside of your physical realm, your mastery realm, and be strong mentally. You got to take up for her weaknesses in the mental realm when she goes astray and is influenced by negativity. Now, one way you can do this, brothers, is make sure you know who she's associating with. Because if she's associating with single women who don't have a man, what can they tell her? What can they tell her about anything? And tell her that. Say, look, you're talking to somebody who's not even married. That's a bad influence on you. You should have that relationship out of touch. Because when they call you, they're not trying to build you up. They're envious because you are married. Brother, we don't have that problem because we don't allow men to come in and upset our family. We have that mantra about us. So, men, I'm talking to you. You gotta be strong these days and make sure you don't allow these outside influences. They're coming from everywhere. The mass media, particularly, that's very strong. If you have children who are going to school, they're constantly under attack to disrespect their parents. You can talk to them and see what they're learning, what they're being indoctrinated with. So this is what I recommend for those of you who still allowing your children to go outside the home to get educated. They should be debriefed every time they come. Every time you come together, you should have a daily meeting. What do y'all talk about in school? And hey, this is a must. Ain't no time for attitudes here. This is time for being straightforward. And so, whatever they told you, whatever they're learning, you got to put God in it. You got to put the divinity in it to make sure the child sees it in the right perspective. If God is not in it, there's no divinity in it, then you should not be in it. Because the schools are more like a socialist communist playground right now. And yeah, and you consent to it because when you allow your children to go to school, you give up your parental rights to a certain degree. So until you're able to homeschool your child, which is becoming easier now under the new administration, he's even paying the parents to homeschool their children. So take time and find out how you can do that. Otherwise, you're gonna have a battle on your hand every day because they're coming at you through your children. So you got to make sure your children get the proper thinking, the proper ways of thinking, the ways of looking at things, the proper education. Thank you all who give me the thumbs up. That's great. I love that. That's caused they say the algorithm to rotate the video. But I don't know how much truth is in that because everything is behind the people operating the computers. If they don't like the message, I don't care how many thumbs up you get, they're not gonna allow it to be circulated. You see, they got a big brother complex because they got so much power. That's why they say power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I just put my faith in the source, the great creator, the great I am. And knows that everything is going to happen in time, on time. Just make sure I'm doing my part. And brothers, don't make the mistake I made when things get tough. Say, well, I'm out of here. I can't take this. Nope, don't do it. Do not do it. You would regret it. You got to hang tough. Even if the wife is taking you through the ringer, trying to get false charges upon you because her friends has told her how happy they are being divorced. Go through it. Go through it. You got to see yourself winning on the other end, or it's not going to happen. You got to see yourself successful. You have to see yourself as winning. And she's going to love you much more when you do that. So this is your test. Now, how do you deal with the children when they are really corrupted and you haven't been doing this debriefing them, you haven't been talking to them like you should have been? You need to find a way to take a vacation for at least a few ways. A week would be good. If you can manage a week vacation with just family, it could be in a remote area, far away from the hustle and bustle, where you're not going to have no TV, you're not going to be around people, and you're just going to get acquainted with each other. See, this is what bonding. A lot of families have never bonded because you never have been around them 24/7. You never have seen them go through changes, angry, upset, happy. And it's just a walk through the park with the mother and father, and the mother's telling them about the different flowers, and the father is telling them about the different trees and the animals and what they do. This is a must, families. You got to do this with your children. You got to acquaint your children with nature. The earlier, the better. You got to grow with them. As they experience life, you experience it with them and tell them what they're looking at. They call it the birds and the bees. Yes, it's the angels and the beasts as well. The different nature of people, how some people just downright dirty. And you have to know how to spot them. You have to know how to deal with them. Know how to know how to know who you're speaking with. Children don't know that. You got to teach them. When someone come at you this way and talk like this is what they're all about. This is how you hound them. They're not going to get that in school. That's why a lot of women are these smooth talking men, get them in a compromised position, and it's hard for the woman ever to recover from that because she put trust in these people, these men, and they desert her. Most times with children. But can you blame her? No, she didn't know any better. Father, you got to take your girl out, your daughters out, show them how they're supposed to be treated on a date, how the man's supposed to open the door, things like that. Show her what to expect if she goes on a date. And if the man is not doing that, then she shouldn't want to deal with that as well because he hasn't been taught how to deal with a woman. And you have been taught what to expect from a man. So you have an education of what to expect. You can't be easily hoodwinked because your father didn't teach you. And mothers, the same thing with the sons. You have to talk to your sons and treat them how their wives should treat them. In other words, when he reaches a certain age and looking for a woman, you got to tell him what to look for in a good woman. Men, we can't do that. That's why it's important for the family to be together so they can teach the children. And you have fun doing it. And you take vacation together. You do everything as a family. Okay, well, that's it for now. Peace, y'all. Thank you for your subscriptions.